How's it going, YouTube? We're bringing you guys another finals match today for the BT8 format. This will be the last one I have up before EX02 comes out, and it is going to be Armor Rush on the left versus the security control list that has been going around recently on the right. Before we hop into the video real fast, I do want to say thank you guys for continued support on the channel. We just hit 1,000 subscribers, so thank you very much. Keep on subscribing, keep liking the video, and commenting any questions you have down below. But without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into the gameplay. So here on the Armor Rush player, they will go ahead, Digivolve into Elijahmon, and then play the Dual Tamer in the back, just so they can get a little bit of extra memory with Elijahmon at the start of the next turn. And here, the security control player will swing in with the Patamon, and then afterwards they will here do an illegal action. They should have done it before the Patamon was deleted, but they got a little too ahead of themselves. They should not be able to activate that option card to draw 2 cards for each security, or H2 security they have, but they go ahead, draw their 2 cards, so I hope you guys can see past that, and then they just play down the Magna to get a little bit of recover, putting them up to 6, passing them over to 5 to the Armor Rush player side, who will go up to 7. Here they'll raise up the Elijahmon, try to fire Rocket going to 6, but unfortunately the first check they swing in, then hit, is a Wyvern's Breath, so the Wyvern's Breath is going to just go ahead and take out the Elijahmon. Here, the Armor Rush player will try to get a little bit of cycle. They'll play down the Vmon. You see them grabbing the Magna. Magna's a pretty good option to go into here, because using the Magna with at least 2 armors in trash, I believe right now, they have a Elijahmon and a Flamedramon from a check. They're able to make the Magna 11k, so a single Flame Hell Scythe wouldn't be able to take it out, as well as a single maybe an Eden's Javelin at this point, if this list is running it. I can't remember if they are, but here they do in fact go into the Magna, so it makes him 11k, so they'd have to commit something to completely clear the board, but unfortunately for the Armor Rush player, they do end up having the Schwarz. Since 2 Tamers are on the field, they're able to Armor Purge to protect one of them, but they are not able to go ahead and stop the Vmon from being deleted. This will pass them over to 3 because of the 2 Mimis, and then they will go ahead and gain an extra memory thanks to the Kenan Davis. So here, the Armor Rush player has the Jamming Vmon set up for following turns, and they Digivolve into the Flamedramon, playing the Fire Rocket. So now Flamedramon is going to swing in 2 checks at 8k, as long as he doesn't die to a security check, but unfortunately does hit a Chaos Degradation, which goes ahead, throws him into the top of security, so that he knows what's there, so this Magnamon could potentially swing in and not die. And here, the Armor Rush player is just trying to think about what they're going to do. They go ahead, decide to get a little bit of search off with the Davis, grabbing the Elijahmon, and deciding to grab the Searcher Vmon, trying to find more pieces, probably needing some more armor cards. Here, the Magnamon will just go ahead, swing in. We know it's going to live because of the Flamedramon only being at 6k, or at 5k, and then they will just go ahead, play another Magnamon to get a little bit of cover, passing the 4, effectively 5, after raising up the Vmon. So here, it's more than likely you expect the Elijahmon to come down, and if he has a potential another Fire Rocket or something, to use that, because we know he's got the Elijahmon off of one of the searches from the Davis, so he will just go ahead, Digivolve into the Elijahmon, trying to bounce back and forth on what he's going to do. Decides to just go ahead and swing in, does not have another Fire Rocket, will get the draw off of the Upa. Fortunately and unfortunately, he does go ahead and hit the Mimi, so now they have 3 Mimis on field, making their options significantly cheaper, but not allowing them to be able to Armor Purge. So they'll just follow up with a Vmon, the BT8 Vmon, so they can get a little bit of search. Here you see they go ahead and take the Magnamon to more than likely Digivolve. You can see they have the Mask Change in hand. I'm sorry, not Mask Change, Armor Texture. It's Glorified Mask Change. The Armor Texture in hand, so they might do that, but they did end up drawing the Giga Death, and they will just go ahead and commit all the memory to Giga Death to just go ahead and bottom deck those 2 Magnamon, so they could potentially not be used if they die to security, or if they stay on the field to do extra damage. They can't be cheated out with Flame Hell Scythe. So here the security control player will go ahead, use the Schwarz to suspending the 3 Mimis, so it's effectively 3 to go ahead and basically clear the board. They'll go ahead and purge one of them, but then delete the other guy, and then here they'll go ahead and use Chaos Degradation, passing them over to 2 memory. They'll effectively go up to 3, but they will go ahead, get rid of the Vmon, putting it on the bottom of the security stack, and then trashing the top, hopefully to get rid of something like a Spark or any other option that may slow them down on a following turn. So here they'll go ahead and Digivolve the Vmon in the back. It's probably not worth to Digivolve into the Magna in the back, just because you lose out on how big he can be. Even if there's options like Chaos Degradation, you can't really do anything with it in the back. So they go ahead, drop a Jamming Vmon, and then just Digivolve into the Magna. I believe there's at least 4 in trash, so this makes the Magna 15k at this point. But here you'll see the security control player is going to go ahead, select out the options. Both these players know each other. They get along very well. This is one of our locals, so they know what he's playing against. against, so just in case an Avenged Kidmon comes out, he wants to make sure he has all the options set aside. So here you'll see the security control player just use Chaos Degradation, put the Magna on the bottom, shredding the top card. It is another VMon. They leave the VMon here, but they catch it here in a second, so they do know that this VMon is going to go away in a minute, passing them over to 4 memory after the 3 Mimis and then the Kenan Davis. Here, the Armor Rush player is going to go ahead, swing in the VMon. If it hits an option, it hits an option. If it hits a Digimon, even better. But here, it does in fact hit the Schwarz. That'll go ahead and delete it. He does have 3 Tamers on board. So here he's kind of going back and forth on what he has. I believe at this point he has an Ice Wall, maybe a couple of hybrids in hand. I can't fully remember. I was sitting there watching at this point. But he does end up having the VMon to get a little bit of a search, and then decides to go ahead and take the Lydramon here. Kind of surprised he doesn't take the Flamedramon, mainly because the Flamedramon's pretty, and I like pretty cardboard. But all that being said, he decides to go ahead and take the Lydramon just in case a level 3 comes out, and a level 3 or 4 or lower, and he can maybe swing over that on a following turn. But instead, he goes ahead and just Digivolves, or just hard plays Ice Wall. I'm kind of surprised he plays the Ice Wall here. There's no threat on this side of the board. He hasn't seen any hybrids, so there's a low chance that he just gets knocked out by a bunch of hybrids that slows down the turn. But he goes ahead and just Digivolves into the Lydramon. So I think that's a little bit like just an extra use of the Lydramon, but he will go ahead and just Digivolve anyway, putting him to 2. Here you'll see he's counting all of his option cards, just going to go ahead, slam down the Avenged Kidmon. Since 7 or more options were returned that way, the Avenged Kid is able to go ahead and delete, I believe it's a 8k Digimon, but the Lydramon will be able to Armor Purge, and then they'll just go ahead in their turn with a Reinforced Memory Boost, passing the opponent back over to 3, just trying to go back and forth, deciding to take the option, or take the Magna to hand, and putting the option on the top of security. So here with the rookie on field, he is able to put a little bit of aggression up if he has something like a Fire Rocket. He's able to Digivolve back and raising into a VMon, gaining a little bit of extra memory from the Kenan Davis, sparking up to 5. Kind of going back and forth on what he has in hand. I'm looking at him counting how many armors he has in hand. I'm thinking either a Plasma Shot could come out or a Magna. It looks like there you can see the Plasma Shot, so that's potentially if he is able to go ahead and delete that, but not quite able to. He also needs to have an Armor Form or a Yellow on field to be able to use that. But here, we'll Digivolve into the Flamedramon and then just go ahead and play the Fire Rocket and then hit 2 Flame Hell Sights out of security. So the Flamedramon does go ahead and get all of its checks in, but unfortunately they're able to spawn out a body with the Patamon, and the Flamedramon does go down. So it's something that they will not have to answer on the following turn. And then here, just go ahead, Digivolve into a Kumamon, swing in, hitting another Flame Hell Scythe. 3 Flame Hell Scythes back to back to back from the start. Pretty strong security. It's kind of rough to come back from that. And here, we'll just try to get a little bit of a search, play the Davis, grabbing the Magnamon. In a pretty good spot, has a guy back in raising. If he has another hybrid in hand, then he might be solid, and with only 1 security if he isn't able to recover. But as we saw from the Reinforced Memory Boost, we know he does have the Magna. He is able to pop the Memory Boost, going to 7, playing down the Magna, getting a little bit of recover, swinging in with the bodies. The Patamon dies to a rookie. The Avenged Kid swings in fact, lives to the rookie. There's not really much that the Avenged Kid can lose out from here, because I don't think anything in this deck is very big in security. So here, the security control player will just go ahead, Digivolve into the Junomon to get a little bit of cycle. I didn't really see what they draw there, but Junomon mills 3 so that they can grab any Digimon from trash. And it also puts a big body on board that can't be answered with something like Plasma Shot. So here, without the Kenan Davis, they are just going to be at 3 memory, so they just raise up the VMon. It's really unfortunate that they were able to, that they don't have another Fire Rocket. We know that 1's in trash, and I believe the other 3 are at the bottom of the deck. So here we'll just Digivolve into the Lydramon, swing in, hoping it doesn't die to a security check. Unfortunately, it does hit into the Eden's Javelin. It has plenty of cards in hand to take out a 5k, so they will just go ahead, give the neg DP. At this point, we see some options. We see a hybrid in hand, so hybrid was very strong. See they have the jamming VMon, so that's potentially just the easiest way to go ahead and pass it down, but I didn't see that one in hand. They do in fact have the VMon, so they're able to just go ahead, slam down the VMon, put them at 2. As long as they don't have any removal, they are looking at a pretty good spot or a way to recover up. So here on the security control player's side, they are a little short on checks. I'm thinking here that they have to either risk it, more than likely swing in. It does in fact live to the security. Again, 11k is really not going to go down against Armor Rush. I don't think anything in the deck takes them out unless they tech in something. We knew it was a Magna from one of the earlier Chaos Degradations. And here I'm expecting some type of recovery. If you don't recover here, then there's always a chance that you just hard lose to something like a hybrid, which we've already seen one, so there's a good chance that we have it. So here they'll go ahead, put it on top, and then just trash it. So getting rid of that extra body and not having another hybrid might just seal seal the deal here. They just go ahead, trash it, trash the bottom sources. They Digivolve into the Kuma, swing in, hitting at Eden's, taking it out. We don't see any other rookie, any other Hammerspark, and from the looks of it, it doesn't look like there is any other hybrid in hand, so that might just be game here. I think the best thing you can really do is throw down a blocker, but that doesn't really do much. So we will go ahead, take it to game 2. Security control player barely squeezing by. So here the security control player will be going first. Usually what you want to do against security control is take the second turn, so that way you can try to make use of the amount of memory that you're going to give you on the first turn. So here the Armor Rush player goes ahead, Digivolves back in Raising into the Vmon, into the Flame Dramon. Very strong combo, because if you have something like a Fire Rocket and it dies to a Digimon on the first check, then you still get your extra check with the Vmon, and then just go ahead, hard slam down BT8 Vmon to get a search for a dual color, but unfortunately are not able to hit anything. So here you'll see them readjust. The security control player getting a little ahead of himself, raising up the Patamon, swinging in. It does in fact die to the security check, and then just to go ahead finish up the turn, they'll go ahead and use Eden's to take out the Vmon, basically clearing the board as much as possible. Here, the Armor Rush player is going to go ahead, push up the Flame Dramon, go ahead, decide to swing in. Guess doesn't have the Fire Rocket or anything, or they do have the Fire Rocket. I think here he even mentioned that he just completely forgot he had it. Hitting into the Mimi, so we will just go ahead and Armor Texture, Digivolving into another Flame Dramon, playing down the Fire Rocket, swinging, and again, doing 2 checks, unfortunately hitting the Wyvern's Breath, so really either way that he did it, he was going to hit the Wyvern's Breath on the 3rd check, so I guess he was never actually going to get all 4 checks in anyway, so it actually kind of worked out on that end. But here we'll go ahead, hard slam down the Vmon to get a little bit more search, grabbing a free, grabbing another Vmon. So here, the security control player will just go ahead, use the Eden's Javelin to take out the Vmon. Going to go ahead and give that neg DP to the Vmon. If there was a little bit of a cut there, I think there may have been an issue with the camera, so sorry about that, but he does just Eden's to go ahead and take out the Vmon. Passing him over to 2 memory effectively, since he was at 3, suspending the Mimi. Here, the Armor Rush player is kind of struggling here. They Digivolve back in Raising, then just pass turn. So at this point, the security control player will go ahead and use that Blade of the True, or whatever it's called, I cannot remember off the top of my head right now, to draw an extra card, and then they'll suspend Mimi to go ahead, draw another extra card since they're at 2 security, so they'll get a little bit more advantage, and then just go ahead, drop down the Mimi, choke them at 2, as little as possible. That way they can't just go into a Magna without passing turn. So here, the Armor Rush player will just go ahead swinging with the Vmon. Doesn't look like they have an armor to go into, at least not a 2-cost one, and it will hit into a Flame Hell Scythe, unfortunately taking it out, allowing them to play back out the Patamon to get a little bit of recovery, and then just passing turn by hard slamming down the starter deck 7 Vmon. So here the security control player will go ahead, Digivolve the Salamon back in Raising. They have the Patamon on field, so my guess here is you just always swing in just to get a little bit of extra chip. You are a little low, but you have the purple on, you have the yellow source regardless, so there's no point in not. But then they just go ahead and play an Eden's Javelin to get rid of the Vmon. A little bit of conservative here. I can kind of see why. If you hit something like a Hammerspark, it does kind of slow you down. You pass into a little bit more memory than you may want to, but here it looks like the Armor Rush player is struggling. They just hard slam down Elydramon, not even worrying about hatching an egg because they just don't have access to a rookie to go into. So here we'll just swing in. We'll get the recovery off the Salamon that dies into security. We'll swing into the Patamon. Patamon will hit the Vmon. But here you just notice that, again, there's just all rookies coming out of security. So it looks like we're having a little bit of struggle issue there on that front, and then we'll just go ahead and use the Flame Hell Scythe, passing them over to only 1 memory with the 2 Mimis, and then playing out the Salamon, choking them at 1. Here, Armor Rush player is very struggling. They'll go ahead and hatch, but they just have to hard slam down the Flame Dramon. Missing out on rookies is not something you usually see very often in Armor Rush, but I mean, when you have 4 or 5 in security, what are you going to do here? So they will just go ahead, hard slam down the Flame Dramon, and then passing them back turn over, they'll swing in with the Salamon. Salamon dies to an X-Vmon. They will go ahead and recover 1, gaining a memory off of the Kari. And here, I mean, there's just not much you can do. You probably just get rid of the Flame Dramon. You'll go ahead, tuck it on the bottom, and get rid of the top card. It is a Fire Rocket. Not really anything that was going to do. It deletes a blocker, so there's not much that you have to worry about there. But it does end up basically keeping anything on the board for the Armor Rush player that he can't really do much. So here you'll see, still missing out on a rookie. They'll just hard slam down Elydramon, and then passing the turn over to 4 to the security control player side. The Avenged Kidmon will go ahead and just be slammed down. I believe they return 11 cards here, so he is a 1 cost instead of just completely free, but he did return more than 7, so he's able to go ahead and delete the Elydramon. Not really much he's able to do there. Hard slam down the Magna, so you basically have lethal on the follow-up turn, choking them only to 3 memory with the effect of Kari. So here, the Armor Rush player does finally hit the rookie, but they will go ahead and play it so they can get to search off, because they need something like a Magna to not just lose the game this turn. So they will just go ahead, find the Magna off, find 2 Magnas actually off the search. So we know that they're probably going to go into the Magna. Here, the other opponent, again, these guys know each other very well. So he's basically showing him that this VMon isn't long for this world. But if it's not something exactly like a Chaos Degradation or multiple removal cards, Wyvern's Breath probably won't just be able to take out of this, because I believe at this point there are 5 in trash, 5 armor forms in trash. So he'll Digivolve into the Magna after triple Hammer Spark. Hand very clogged with options this game, it seems like. And if he doesn't specifically have something like Chaos Degradation or 2 Wyvern's Breath or something like that, then he's not going to be able to get rid of this Magna. So here he just Plasma Shots to get rid of the Magna Angemon on the other opponent's side, and give the extra neg DP to the Avenged Kidmon. But really, that's not going to matter. He's going to go ahead and just shred the Magna. He's going to put the Magna on top, shred it to the, and then shred it after the effect of Chaos Degradation. And then here, the Armor Rush player, again, doesn't quite have anything, just hard slamming down a Lydramon. So at this point, without any DP reduction, there's no point not to just go ahead, swing it with Avenged Kidmon, hitting the last card in Security, which we knew is a Flame Dramon, I believe, from earlier. And then we'll just go ahead, use Flame Hellscythe, bringing out the Magna, gaining a memory from Kari, gaining the 2 memory from the 2 Mimis, and then just playing down another Mimi, choking him as much as possible. Here, he doesn't really have anything. He knows he doesn't have anything. Hard slams down the last Lydramon, passing him over 2-3, basically conceding the match without anything to do. So the Security Control player will go ahead and get this match 2-0. So it was interesting to see, as always. Security Control is a very strong deck. I think it drops off when EXO2 comes out, so I kind of wanted to get this last BT8 game out so you could kind of see how this deck worked. And then it's always nice to see Armor Rush in the top tables. But with all that being said, guys, thank you so much for staying to the end of the video. If you did enjoy the content, be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more, and leave any comments down below. I know we had that one little misplay, but other than that, I hope everything worked out well for you guys. So again, thank you guys for all the support. We hit 1,000 subscribers. That is awesome. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.